1 second. It goes live on the Dani Perro Show page, so I'm just going to check it because I also share it from that page to my personal. So give me 1 second. Getting everything started and situated.
It should be on the
thing.
Okay. Do that to me now.
All right, so we are going to get started. So I just shared it on the Dani Perro Show page, and it's also on my personal. And I don't know if we added you, but we also have a Dani Perro Show group now. So we'll look into that after the show as well, so you can join. All right, so I'm going to do a 30-second countdown. Michael, I will be right back to start the show, okay?
All right.
All right, talk to you soon. Good evening, everyone. Today is Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. Welcome to the Dani Perro Show here in home studio tonight. We're so excited to finally welcome Michael Botte from the Michael Botte Band. We previously were supposed to have him on the show a couple weeks ago, and something had happened, but, you know, God made it happen that we were able to finally get you on video physically. So we appreciate that, and thank you for your time today.
No, thank you so much. I'm glad that you stayed with me, even though we had those difficulties. So I felt like I won. I get a chance to be on the show. So thank you for your patience.
Yeah, almost definitely. And I think the opportunity as well was me getting the opportunity to meet you. That was the bigger thing.
Yeah.
Because even though we weren't able to do the interview and we had to reschedule, after the rescheduling, we were still able to now have the interview. So it's not like we made you wait that long. I think you waited a week prior.
Yeah, that's
so
okay.
it wasn't that bad.
Patient.
Good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. So we're actually getting a lot of comments that are coming in now. So I am actually going to be incorporating this tonight. Normally, my father, Doc G, is the best engineer during the show, but unfortunately, he is sick at this time. So it is all on me. So I hope he feels better.
We love Papa. We love Papa.
Thank you. So I just wanted to say we're getting started real quick with Michael. So Michael, why don't you tell us a little bit about when you were younger and you first got into music, where you felt as if this is something you wanted to do with your life?
Oh, wow. Yeah, we're going to go big right out of the gate. Right on. Let's make me think.
Smallest. That's not big. That starts at the young age, and then we get big.
My favorite color is purple. No, that's a big question. So, all right. So I was born little steel town right along the Ohio River outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Little small blue-collar town. Dani, I didn't have a stoplight in my town. Life was, riding your bikes, playing ball, playing hide and seek and fishing. That's how I grew up. But I remember my father, he always sang more than he spoke. I mean, he never did anything professionally, Dani, but he was involved in so many different things around singing. So I don't know if you know barbershop quartets.
Of course. Oh my God, I've had many on my show as well, just to give you a hint.
Well, he used to do that, and it's very, very challenging, as you know, very technical. And he was a leader of the local church choir. So as a kid, I'm up there jamming, up in church, at our local church, and then he was a member of like the local theater groups, and we did like the big productions like Sound of Music and My Fair Lady and Fiddler on the Roof. And I will tell you, as a kid, going to all those productions and memorizing the words to say Fiddler on the Roof did not make me the coolest kid in town, I will tell you. But Dani, I survived. I'm a survivor. So that was like my first big introduction to music, was like musical theater as a kid. And then, many influences later got to where I am today, which certainly we could talk about. But that's kind of where my first love of music became, my father's voice.
So when you had gotten a chance to do church and stuff, even if you were going to support your father, were you in any choirs? Were you in any groups as well where you were singing? Or were you also just supporting him until you wanted to start singing?
No, in the church, and then in school, through high school, I was always in the chorus group, me and all my buddies, and we were in the chorus group. We did things, on stage. And so it was just a fun hobby, it was really cool. That's something I enjoyed doing, and then never did anything even remotely close to that till decades later. But it was fun while it lasted.
So let's talk about when you were previously in theater and everything like that. Some of the roles that you had gotten to play. Did you play any leads? Did you play more of like chorus members, ensemble? Just trying to get a feel as well, because this is going to portray you into your music career. That's why.
Yeah, no, for me, it wasn't theater. It was just chorus. It was just singing productions. My father did all the theater productions that I went to, but for me,
Okay.
I never was
The
actually in
chorus.
theater. No, just the chorus
Got it.
groups. No,
So was it chorus like gospel? Was it like all types of
no,
music?
it was all kinds of, some, church kind of stuff, and then some contemporary stuff from the time. I mean, this was, when I was in choir or chorus group, it was like 1984 to 1988. It was a long time ago.
I wasn't born yet. Okay,
You
got
weren't
you.
born yet, I know. You could tell right here. So I don't remember what we even did, but it was a lot of just contemporary stuff and a lot of like religious based things. They came from like a local kind of Catholic, Italian Catholic kind of area, Serbian Orthodox
Yep.
area. So some church based things, that kind of stuff.
Okay. So then getting a feel for what you liked when you were younger and doing a lot of choirs and stuff shortly, kind of like what was next in your life? Was it like you deciding this is what I want to do when I grow up? Before we talk, because the pandemic I know happened a lot with the band as well, being the name that it is. But I'm trying to kind of build up to where you are now at a younger point.
So for me, starting out, like my musical influences were like a bit of a wreck. So if you think about, so the first album I ever bought, so this is where my musical influences started. So the first album I ever, 1978, 77. I was like 8 years old, and I saved all of my allowance. I think back then I got maybe 50 cents a week or something. I know it sounds weird the way it was,
This is
But
so no, I know exactly what you're talking about. Allowance. Nobody even talks about allowances anymore.
I think I saved $3.50, and I went to the store and bought my first album ever, which was Kiss Love Gun. I don't know if you know what that is, or I actually coincidentally have a Kiss shirt on. I didn't mean to do that.
Okay, I know who Kiss is. Yes.
Okay, Love Gun. So that was my first like influence, was like just rock and roll, and then it just kept going from there. Then the 80s, of course, early 80s, another genre was born, the rap genre, and I was there with UTFO and the early New Editions and that kind of stuff. And then the hair metal bands came, and then there was just the second, the British Invasion. There were so many genres of music that were bubbling in my 80s. So I always loved music and listened to music, but I never like ever wanted to do anything until like early 90s, mid 90s or something. I thought, I'm going to try this guitar thing, and we'll see what happens.
Okay. So then you kind of went back to a little bit when you were like starting mid young to where you are now. So then let's talk about before you had gotten your first instrument, because I'm sure you play guitar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever play piano or any other instrument like that as well?
Never. Nope.
Okay. So
no,
when did you
pick
first
up
start
guitar?
playing guitar?
Yeah, good question. So I got married in 1995, and I thought, okay, this is a time of change. It's time to maybe grow a little bit. And I thought, I'm going to try this thing called guitar, right?
Okay.
So go to the pawn shop. Yeah, I go to the pawn shop, buy like a $40, whatever it was. And Danny, I swear on everything, I swear I thought if you just push the strings down a little bit and just kind of hit it, all these angelic sounds were going to come out. And my dear, I will tell you, that is not how it worked for me. It was very
arduous. No, it's a lot. It's a hard work to make your guitar work.
It was an awful experience. It took like 3 months, and I think I got a couple sounds, but I got so frustrated, I threw it out the window. It shattered. That was it. And I never touched a guitar again until like about 12 years, 10 years. Yeah,
okay.
Somewhere about.
So maybe that was a little traumatizing for you because you wished that it was a quicker experience to learn how to play it. But mind you, you were still young at this point. I'm guessing.
I was 25.
after marriage and everything. Exactly. Yeah. So you just wanted to kind of get a feel for it, literally, and throw it out the window.
Yeah, I did. Swear to God.
So that's so funny. So shortly after all that happened and stuff, what was your career? Were you looking to do anything with music within your job, what you were doing, or on the side? Yeah.
So then what happened is we moved out to Oakland, California, in the San Francisco Bay Area. And I met this Australian traveling cat. His name was Sebastian Beltrami. He's still one of my best friends to this day if he sees this. And he's a good guitar player. And I was like, hey, man, I tried to do this like a long time ago. And he was like, hey, let's go buy you a guitar and I'll teach you some stuff. So we went to the Guitar Center. And the acoustic guitar that I have, it's not here, to this day is the same guitar I bought in 1999 or whatever it was. And nothing guitar. Mitchell, I'm not even sure if it's a name. I don't know what a Mitchell is, but that's what I have. So he and I started messing around. He taught me a few things, and we started writing a little bit and kind of, progressing. But then life took over. He had to go back to Australia, and things took over for me. So I hooked up with another group of people who were kind of rockers, and we formed a garage band, Dani, that really never ever wanted to leave the garage. It was so fun in the garage. We never wanted to leave.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Also with a garage band, Michael, you have the opportunity to build a bond with your friends, right? And learn the type of music you all love and connect, and probably never want to leave because you just enjoy vibing doing that versus, being at home and being yelled at for not doing chores.
It was so much fun, I will say. And then we wrote about four or five original songs that I had written, and we were kind of playing and getting going. And then again, life takes over, careers, we moved away, and this whole thing. And then the Michael Botte Band, as we know it today, and you kind of alluded to it, is a COVID baby. I was born out of COVID because I had time on my hands to do something other than work and be a dad, and a husband. I had other time to do other things. So that's when this was born.
I was going to say, didn't know you were a dad. Congratulations. But with that also being said, I guess from not being at work and figuring out what else you could do income wise, looking into having a band, was this any of the people the same from the garage band you were doing back in the day? Was anyone like, are they just all new? Were they family and friends?
No, because this is here. Yeah, the COVID Michael Botte Band was born in Philadelphia, and that whole experience happened in Oakland, California. So no, even though it doesn't matter where you are, because my producer, who we just, March 1st, you had mentioned, was our last release. I think that's our 7th release. He and I have never sat in a room together. He lives 10 hours from me. I record here locally. He records there. We send files back and forth. So you can do a lot with virtual bands. Surprise me. Yeah, you'd be surprised. Technically, I'm a virtual band. It's me and my producer, Bob Beals, from Sound Foundation Studios. And that's how we make
I was going to mention, he's in your bio a lot. We know.
Yeah, I will say, any musician worth anything knows that, I'm not a lone wolf here. I'm not on an island. That's why I call myself, Dani, the Michael Botte Band. I could have just used my name, but I wanted to pluralize it because I knew there'd be more people with me making this gig run. And Bob, a 40-year veteran in music, is absolutely such an important part of this role. So no, he's my man. Yeah.
Bob Beals. And how did you meet him exactly? Like, I'm sure he's a huge part of your career now, but did you meet him from the pandemic as well, the quarantine?
Yeah, so I had recorded, so during the pandemic, I learned voraciously and read and studied to learn how to make demos and record. I never recorded a note in my life prior to 2020. So I learned how to record some demos, and I put them out on different Facebook groups and, different music groups and different producer groups, and just asking for advice and thoughts and, hey, what do I do here? What do you think of this? All that kind of stuff. And Bob was giving me a lot of advice, and we just developed a friendship. And then finally, he gave me a lot of advice on a song called New Rising Sun. And I said, you know what, Bob, I'm not going to do any of those things that you just told me. And he kind of taken aback and said, because you're going to do it. You are now my producer. So from that point on, we've just been inseparable. We just finished our October release today. So we're way ahead of the curve.
Okay, so this is going to be released in October of this year.
So we just finished our June release, and then we have our October release.
Okay, so you're doing a couple every 2-3 months.
Every 4 months, yeah. So the one that just released March 1st is the one that the fresh one, the new.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a minute. I want to go back to a little bit pre-pandemic before we mention about the band and everything. Pre-pandemic, when this affected you, did this affect you mentally, physically, your career, your job? Did you feel like there was nothing you can do, and this is how life kind of turned and pushed you into what you wanted to do?
Yeah, I mean, it was a time of chaos and confusion for a lot of people. I mean, the world did shut down. We were all a little bit confused and didn't know what was going on. And, a lot of COVID affected different people in different ways. Positively, as you alluded to, the Michael Botte Band, thank God, was formed. However, there was a dark side to COVID. And of course, without getting into all the details, COVID was very, very unkind to my family. So I turned to music as a way of coping. So a lot of the songs that I've written, Radiate, My Way, a lot of those songs are me using music as my therapy. I always use the hashtag music is my therapy. That's me getting through the day. So the Michael Botte Band, even though that's a very positive thing, was born out of, I guess, a lot of material, a lot of things to talk about.
What I love about that, though, is whether or not we were all going through something together, we were all not understanding what was going on in the world, shut down for those few minutes, those months. I mean, it kind of felt like 2020 flew by. Nobody even remembers the year. We're already in 2024. See, that's how quick it seems. It's ridiculous. But when we all went through 2020, it was more of an experience that I know that is probably very hard on a lot of people, but I feel like to a lot of people, we were all pushed and shown by God or whoever it is and who you believe that we work hard. We work super hard for our family. And this is what we do. This is what we try to bring home, money-wise, everything. So I feel like the world slowed down for a little bit for all of us to be like, you know, obviously you can't go out, you can't do anything. So like stay home, do a movie night, do a game night. I bonded more with my family than I did in a couple of years because I feel like we're all so busy. None of us see anyone anymore.
No, that's a good point. I will say, in and amongst the darkness, there were quite a few light days, and we have so many fond memories of us just being a self-contained unit with the dogs, cooking wonderful meals, just enjoying each other, and
laughing because it felt like there was nothing wrong, even though you can't go outside. There was nothing wrong because you had your family with you. Everything was okay. So that was the type of thing. So I wanted to know, within that inspiration that you dealt with the pandemic, that kind of brought you into the Michael Botte Band. But as you being Michael Botte, I'm still curious as how did this band all come about? Was this something where it was all virtual, I'm sure, but did you post something? Did you have family or friends involved? Like, how did you become a band?
So, like I said, it was just me and my producer. I just used the word band to pluralize the name. There's never been anybody else. It's me and Bob.
When you are out performing, is there a band with you, or is it just you as a solo artist?
So right now, I've only been making music in the studio because I really didn't have the ability or really the muscle to try to play out. Being with Big Records, I signed with Big Records, my record company, back in, I think, September. So now with their muscle, they're looking to put together tours together that may fit me. So
got it.
That's something that could come down the line.
They're going to schedule for you.
Correct. Yeah. So there's things that could be coming. So if I had to do that, I would have a backup band. We've had that already kind of worked out and thought about who would be my band, and that's already worked out. Yeah.
And is that family? Is that close friends? No. You already know who it is?
No. Well, I'm sure I know who they are. Just another group of artists. Yeah.
Okay. Somebody that you'll bond with, though, right? Have a good connection with.
Yeah.
That's what you want to do when you're a singer. You don't want to have a band that doesn't seem like they care for your music and they're just playing it, because you'll feel the era in the room.
Yeah, no, these guys are legit. They're talented. Yeah, they could handle my stuff, no problem.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. So shortly after we created that for yourself, let's talk a little bit about your genre. Being Michael Botte, what do you feel like you want the world to know that you put in your music?
Yeah, that's a fun question, because we've deviated from where we started. So when we first did New Rising Sun, and the way I wrote it and kind of the way I sang it and the way my producer and I kind of played it and arranged it, it kind of fell into that country rock sort of genre. And I'll be honest, Dani, I have nothing against country rock. It's just not something that I knew. I missed that. I can't, there's only 24 hours in the day, right? I just missed that. Okay. But I learned a lot about it, I must say, and there's some remarkably talented people that I've kind of found along the way. So we kind of fell into that country rock gig, and New Rising Sun, Here We Go, and Leave This Town, and then when Beautiful Day hit, that actually charted at #1 in the World Indie Music Chart back in May of 23, and which was a huge push for us. And it was like
another big congratulations.
Thank you. No, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. So we had that #1 hit, and that country rock thing was kind of cruising, and then we deviated. Completely left it and did like an Americana kind of acoustic song called My Way, just to mess around with things. And I never promoted that one. It was more of a very personal song.
Okay.
So now when you hear Radiate's more in that kind of pop rock sort of world, which is kind of where I wanted to be. That mid 2000s, early 2000s tonic, Toad the Wet Sprocket, Vertical Horizon, Dishwalla, all those bands, Sister Hazel. I love those bands, and we're trying to mimic that sound. And then I Got a Song is in that same vein, that kind of pop rock. So
that's the one that just came out March 1st.
Correct. So we went country rock, sort of Americana acoustic, to like pop rock now. And that's where we're going to sit for 1 or 2. The October release is completely different, but we can't talk about it.
Okay, so you're still, let's talk about this a little bit. Are you still trying to understand what you want your genre to be? Are you having a good time mixing it up, or do you want to be known to have a collaboration with all these different genres as who you are?
Yeah, I mean, for right now, I'm just having fun playing different things, because I want to kind of see what sticks a little bit. I mean, we're even doing reggae beats. I mean, we're doing a lot of different things, just to kind of have some fun. But I will say, I think my strength and my heart and my desire is more kind of like that pop rock. Again, the Trains of the world, the Toad the Wet Sprockets. I keep saying those bands, Dishwalla. I'm not sure if you know them, but bands that I love from like the early 2000s. That's kind of where my heart is. So we're going to screw around a little bit because, Danny, I got nothing to lose. I make stuff that hopefully people want to hear. I want them to want to hear it. So we're going to give it a shot, and then we'll see where we land. Like I said,
can we throw in like any metal, but not like too hard metal? Is that something you would do, or is that too rough for you?
So I will say the October release, I'll give you this much. The
Okay.
October release,
I knew this.
This is breaking. This is breaking only on your show.
Okay.
I will tell you that the reference tracks, we use reference tracks whenever you're making music, if you know that, kind of someone sonically or, from arrangement perspective, you're kind of interested in sounding like, so you use reference tracks.
Okay.
I will tell you the tracks, but the bands that we used were Linkin Park, Godsmack, and Evanescence. So that gives you an idea of what the
October definitely. And you know what? Honestly, being an October release, you are so ready for Halloween. You are like past the mark where like everybody's already wishing it to be past summer and back to fall. You know what I mean? Like you're already there. You know exactly what you wanted. And it's amazing that you have that. You have something with your producer, right? Every 4 months where you're like, oh, we're gonna do something new. Because as a musician and being a dad and having a full-time job, I'm sure there's not that much time in your schedule, along being with your wife and everything, where you probably can sit down and be like, I have to create this album. So I'm sure it's like, obviously other musicians will struggle to have that type of thing, but you, on the other hand, could be like a year ahead of yourself, being prepared, having everything scheduled, and then talking about your release. And that's really amazing.
I'll be honest, that's sort of the business side of me, I guess. I mean, obviously there's a fun, right brain, left brain kind of thing, but in my real world, I guess my real job, I'm kind of in the business world. So I just want to be organized a little bit. And I like this idea because what I might want to do, if I have enough sort of in the can, I can then go to my record company and say, hey, what do you think we should release? Maybe give them an option or two. Right now, I'm just kind of dictating that, which I have the right to do. But I wouldn't mind asking for feedback. Like, hey, what do you think, based on what you're hearing, what you're learning, what's out there, what do you think we should release? So that's kind of why we're doing this. And my producer just this year, thank God, retired from his career, his other career, I should say, in his full-time music. So I have him cooking, man. He is cooking.
He's getting a lot of new releases and everything.
Oh, we're cruising, man. We're cruising.
Now, I'm curious to know, shortly before Big Records, when they contacted you and how you got a chance to be a part of them as well. How did that happen?
Yeah, so this is kind of every musician's dream, honestly. I mean,
definitely.
Yeah,
I wish I could tell many musicians that, but you struggle to the point where somebody is looking for you and you get the opportunity to have somebody reach out to you and they're legit. That's a bonus.
Yeah, and the way it worked was kind of part of that dream. So, I had concentrated. So when I first started this gig, I wasn't someone who was playing out for years or had like a local following or been around. I mean, I just started this gig. So I knew I had to concentrate on like radio play to try to get heard. All we want is just to be heard. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to concentrate a lot on radio play and try to get the songs out there. I've gotten really good at, radio email marketing and that kind of thing. So I sent the song to a radio DJ who does a podcast, just like you. It's Blast FM. Blast, I don't mind mentioning Blast. They're part of the Big Records family. His name is DJ Veep. And he and DJ Gooch and Rock heard one of my songs, one of my country rock songs called Leave This Town. I'm not sure if you've heard that one. It's a little more guitar forward, kind of upbeat, kind of a fun song. And they liked it so much that DJ Veep, Troy, went to the ISSA Awards in Atlanta, met the president and CEO of Big Records, Mark Rosner, and said, hey, I just had this guy on who, made this song, Leave This Town, that we liked him. We'd love for you to meet him. So just because a DJ liked one of my songs, he made the introduction that got me into Big Records. That's exactly how we all wish it would happen. And that's how it happened for me.
Okay, that's really incredible. I love that. Congratulations. That's super exciting because it also, you didn't expect anything from the interview. I mean, sure, the exposure and everything is great. It helps you build, your career, your lifestyle, your fans. But getting an opportunity where it's collaboration, that's exactly what my show is about, where I give the opportunity to, if I have people that I could connect with or who are looking for collaborations, I'll be like, hey, reach out to Michael Bott. This is his information. So we keep you guys all, I want to say, we keep you guys all fairly well, where we want to get to know who you are as a person, obviously, and somebody that's down to earth and truthful. I've had situations where I've had people on my show previously, years and years ago. I've been doing this since I was 18. I'm 27 now. Where they're not the best with interviews. You get a lot of interviews sometimes where you get 1-second answers. You get a lot of interviews where you just get somebody that just keeps rambling on, and
That's probably me.
No, you're very professional at this. I can tell 100%. And you get a lot of interviews where you just have to brace yourself and get prepared for what the next person is going to say and what's next.
Yeah.
So you're 100% past all of that. But I'm saying, like, moving forward with different people that come on the show or get to know you as a person, they don't know you that well until they actually hear your music. They hear your voice. You could tell you're a dedicated artist and it's something that you love to do. And it's something that you, like, seriously wanted. Like, this is something that you love to do.
I love it.
This is something that's calling to you, that you feel like you want to go further up, but maybe you don't know what the next step is. You don't know what your record company has planned out for you.
Well, that's part of. So I just had my meeting. So I usually have their scheduled meetings with the president, Mark Rosner, and we just had our meeting yesterday. And we went through a lot of different opportunities.
Okay.
It was yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? I can't remember. And we went through a couple different opportunities for me. So that's exactly part of the muscle of big records, is that they have big vision, but they have contacts and opportunities and subsidiaries and different ways for musicians to monetize themselves and just to get more exposure. So yeah, it was a good fit for me. Maybe big records isn't a fit for everybody, but for where I was and what I wanted to accomplish and for where I had already been, I needed more muscle, and big records gives me that muscle.
And if I can get a better idea, understanding what exactly is big records. Like, I know they're a record company.
They're my record company, yeah. So they handle things like distribution, as an example. So as one of the perks of being with big records, I used to be distributed through DistroKid, which a lot of people use. Or
okay, yeah. Or CD Baby.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, there's a lot of different wonderful ones. There's nothing wrong with them. But to be distributed through Sony Orchard, the Orchard music was purchased by Sony for a very, very large sum of money. So now I'm part of the Sony Universal family. That's kind of a big deal. And that was part of the muscle of big records, that if you sign with them, you have the ability to be distributed through Sony Orchard. So that helps. They have a lot of muscle when it comes to radio charts. Right now I'm on a chart called Cashbox Magazine. My song Radiate is number 55 on their top pop rock 100. And, there's a lot of different bands on there that you would recognize. So they just have some muscle when it comes to things like that. Yeah.
And then did you also get an opportunity, if I'm not mistaken, for, I think this was a couple years ago. Was it a magazine?
Yeah, so I've been fortunate to be in quite a few magazines. However, Big Records submitted me to a magazine called Lazy Indie out of India.
Oh, wow.
Okay. If you know Lazy Indie, they're a pretty big deal out of India. Jay runs the show, and they submitted me to the magazine. So last month I was one of the featured artists in their magazine. I couldn't believe that I got on there, and I had to make like a little thank you video, and it was really cool to do, and an introduction. And yeah, so I got to be in Lazy Indie magazine, which was just phenomenally.
So was it like you and like a biography, like to say who you are, like what type of person that you were?
Yeah, different interview questions, that kind of thing. Yeah, they just put it into print. Yeah.
And was it digital? Is it a real magazine?
It's digital. I don't know if they distribute it through India. I probably should know this, but it's in India, so I didn't actually look. But I do have a digital copy, of course. Yeah.
You should try to get a paper copy so you can also hold on to that.
I know. I got to see if they do that. I'm going to reach out to Jay. I will.
Oh, I'm sure they do. Or if they don't, depending on the situation that you're in their thread, like their thread of the magazine, you still get the opportunity to be a part of it. You would get the opportunity to be a part of it. So you want to see if you can look into that too. But I was curious for how you met Bob Beals exactly. I know you said that he was amazing because he had reached out to you pre-pandemic and he left his other job. But did you guys have anything like mutual friends or anything? How did you guys meet?
No, so we were in different Facebook music groups. And I, at that time, had learned how to record demos. So I was posting all these different demos and all these different music groups, production groups, and just kind of looking for advice and thoughts and arrangement ideas. And hey, are the guitars too loud here? Just all that kind of stuff. And Bob was someone
you were just trying to get a better idea of how it all works.
He kept giving me advice and things, and it was just really cool, man. He was just a music lover, and we chatted a little bit and just kind of became friends. And then all of a sudden, I said, "Yeah, you're my guy." And we've just done. I think I Got a Song is our 7th release. I think it's our 7th, the one that just dropped on March 1st.
March 1st. Yeah. So speaking of that, which is what I want to get back to, I Got a Song is a new song that we just released on March 1st with you and Bob. What exactly do you want to say that you put behind this song for people to understand I Got a Song?
Yeah, so this is probably one of the most important releases for me. Honestly, we put a lot into this one, only because making that jump from sort of the country rock genre, which treated us very well and opened up doors, obviously,
Sure.
that step into that pop rock. And what's funny about Radiate, which was like the first step, we did leave a banjo in the chorus and in the second verse. There's a banjo, like to kind of make that transition from country
Oh,
rock.
okay, just switch it over.
Yeah.
That's
But,
that's iconic. I like that. That's a little Easter egg they call them, right?
yeah, little ear candy. So I Got a Song does not have that. This is true kind of pop rock. So for me, I kind of very humbly am proclaiming this as like a musician's anthem because honestly, Dani, I wrote it for us as musicians. And what I mean by that is, sometimes, and you alluded to it earlier, sometimes us musicians, have trouble communicating through traditional means, maybe something like this. You don't have that problem. I don't have that problem, but some folks do. However, whenever we are given a chance to use our art as our voice, Dani, come on, we speak volumes, oceans, galaxies of information. So I Got a Song, when you hit the chorus, is all about that. It's just, I got a song that must be sung instead. It's just me saying, look, it's okay, man. Use your art to communicate. It's okay.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And where do you feel like this inspiration came from, though, for you to write this song? Was this just flowing through you immediately? And it was like, I got to write this song because I got a song for this song.
That's it. That's well played. I will say my songwriting, this may tell the tale because my songwriting technique is awful. I mean, I wish.
Oh, okay.
I wish I could say, I honestly wish my songwriting style was, hey, it's a Sunday afternoon. I'm going to make a cup of tea. I'm going to get my book and a pencil, sit under a tree with my guitar and, for 2 hours, write a song. I wish to heck, Dani, that's how it worked. I'm the idiot that wakes up at 3 in the morning with like, oh, I got a chorus. Where's my phone? And then you try to sing it into the phone and it's just awful gibberish. It's out of key. And so then I try to type in the lyrics and type something in. It's complete gibberish the next day. My wife's like, what are you doing? And that is how if a lot of my songs have been written, are just kind of lightning bolt flashes. And then within 24, 48 hours, they're done. I'm on to something else.
Do you feel like anything when you get the intensity of a certain type of chorus or melody, before actually writing it down, there's something that you want to add to it?
Yeah. So what usually happens, honestly, I get the most inspiration by listening to music. I just hear something, hear a change, and I'm like, change. Wait a minute. I thought about that. Why does that match that phrase I wrote 13 years ago? I don't know, whatever it is. I'm putting puzzle pieces together. A lot of musicians will tell you, Mark Tremonti and Miles Kennedy from Alter Bridge are two of my favorite people on planet Earth as musicians, say that, songwriting a lot of times is puzzle pieces. You may have written parts 20 years ago and finished it today. Like my song, My Way, I did that. It was 25 years old, but you put the pieces together. So I wish things were that simple, but for me, it's a wreck. So as far as I Got a Song, it was one of those just lightning bolt moments. I was listening to a Trevor Hall song. I don't know if you know who Trevor Hall is.
I've heard of him.
I was listening to one of his songs, and that kind of forced me to kind of write this song, and then here we are.
Okay, so a lot of the inspirations come from other musicians, which is great because that's what we need. Yep. Now, tell me a little bit about when you were writing Radiate. What was kind of going on? As you take some water because I'm.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I'm talking a lot. Radiate. Oh my goodness. So Radiate's a tougher song. So for me, like I'd mentioned, COVID, it was very, very unkind to my family. So a lot of times when my wife and I felt like we made it through the day, we would split the day into threes, morning, afternoon, and evening. We felt like, we won the day. Evening was kind of settling down. I would go out to a small little spot in my yard. I have a fairly big yard, and there's a little spot out there with some trees and a little bench. And I honestly,
guitar in the notebook.
Yeah, well, I would bring it sometimes. A lot of times it was just me. So I would honestly just sit out there and just with a world of stuff going on, just try to sit there and just recognize my blessings and just repeat my blessings over and over again. Sit there, repeat them, close my eyes, and I would radiate. At least I felt like I was radiating. So Radiate is all about me just desperately trying to, count my blessings, recognize my blessings, use the power of the mind, and just try to overcome adversity. So that's what I mean by, by radiating.
And when we want to talk about Radiate as well, do we feel like this was something positive that you can take as like just something that you're on the next step?
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is about winning. This is about figuring out a strategy to get you through the day. Different people have different strategies to get them through the day. this is one of those songs. It was written for that purpose. Hopefully, lyrically, it could be understood that way. But that's what Radiate is about. So no, that is the message. It's about victory. A lot of times I'll use, I am blessed or victory hashtags because that's what this song is about. You figured out a strategy to make it through the day, and you made it through the day.
I want to talk about that a lot because you mentioned a little bit in the beginning of the show too that you use all different types of hashtags when you post your songs.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's a lot of positive manifestation too. But do you feel like using the hashtags is something positive that means something to you that you want other people to know as a musician too? Or is it more of something for you to understand the way that you want to put it out there?
Yeah, what's funny is, as savvy as I think I am, I don't think I still understand what the hell a hashtag does. But for me, I like putting hashtags of just things that make sense to me. Like for Radiate, I usually put the hashtags radiate love, radiate positivity, radiate joy, and just radiate. Those are just things I would like to just put forth. So those are just the hashtags I use for, of course, the song Radiate, but I kind of been using it for all kinds of different things. And
okay,
then,
so very
music
positive.
is my therapy. Yeah, music is my therapy.
But also with your hashtag, don't forget that you're also given the opportunity if it's on social media. Anyone that types in that hashtag, you are going to come out.
Yeah, okay.
So you're also kind of branding yourself if you didn't know that.
Yeah, I think I kind of knew that, but thank you for setting me straight.
So are you putting Michael Bot bands on everything when you post? Because that's branding yourself too.
Never. I got to put hashtags Michael Botte. Okay, Michael Botte band. All right, I will put hashtags.
Yeah, because even with being your record company, you want to brand yourself. You want to show your record company what's the next step for you. Because the thing is, you doing that is going to open more doors and venues for you, not just them.
Yeah, right on. I get it. I should be doing that. I just focused on those other messages and I forgot about myself.
I should be doing that. There's things that we're just teaching you. It's just things that are
this is a symbiosis. That's what this is.
Exactly. So it's just things, that we're just trying to show you different things that you see that other people don't. And it's just the opportunity where you want to connect on all different levels and you want to make sure they sound good. And as you're using hashtags and stuff for social media wise, you can do a lot with it that you didn't even know.
Ooh, that'll be my
even on your website, you should have hashtag Michael Bot Band because I'm sure when you Google that, your website would come up, but it would also come up as different links too because they're all under the same hashtag.
Okay,
so that's
right on. You should teach classes on this. You should teach classes on this.
Technically, Christopher is actually going to be going to school for graphic design, so that's something he would look into.
Oh, right on.
Do you have somebody that handles your social media, or is that all on you?
No, I use a couple different video editing programs and things, and so I do everything myself. I just like to do it. It's part of the process. I just like to be involved and
it's just fun.
Process. And,
learning the difficult side of it posting wise, but the fun side when it's actually out there and you see it on your page.
Yeah. So I like to do it myself. I do everything myself.
Now, did you create your website as well?
Yeah, I could. That could use some work, but yeah, it's decent enough now. You gets the point across, but I can make it a little more vibrant.
Just update more pictures once in a while when you have for your covers and everything like that, as you know. Give out your social media where people can find you. That is everybody that's tuning into the show. Yeah,
so the good news, it's just Michael Botte Band, BOTTE Band everywhere. The only difference is Twitter because that was too long. It's M Botte Band, but I don't really use Twitter that much for music. But
it's not
Michael Botte Band everywhere. And X, whatever, the token X, whatever it's called. But Michael Botte Band, if you're so inclined, that'll get you anywhere.
So I wanted to ask you, because we got a little interested, earlier with the show that we were talking a lot about your music, how you started a little bit with your inspiration wise. And we said that your dad was one of your inspirations. Now, growing up and you got the opportunity to sing and everything like that, did you ever sing with your father? Was that something that you ever wanted to do? Or is that something you didn't want to do?
Yeah, we just messed around the house. No, just screwed around. Nothing out anywhere. Parties.
It was just, did you ever sing with him though for fun?
Yeah, parties and stuff. We were a very festive house. My parents never drank alcohol ever. It just wasn't their cup of tea. But I will tell you, they had parties where there was a lot of alcohol. Everyone would get pretty lit up, including the kids, right? But my parents never drank ever. But there was always festive parties, so we were always singing. And my dad loved to harmonize. He would just always find the harmonies, and it was pretty eclectic and fun. And so yeah, that was always just part of growing up.
That's amazing. I love that. I think another thing, Alan, because he's tuning in right now, Alan Greenstone is one of our great friends. He has his own podcast as well that he can promote down below. He's probably going to want you on the show, Michael, just letting you know.
Oh, hi, Alan. What's up, man?
I wanted to say, regardless of the situation and, you get an opportunity to sing with your dad, or even if it's for fun, you actually probably didn't know down the line that music was going to come back to you as you wanted to be a musician. I mean, let's say they asked you when you were younger, what do you want to be when you grow up? What did you tell them? What'd you say?
Yeah, I never really answered that question until I think I wanted to be the Incredible Hulk for a while.
Oh,
And then, like,
God, Chris is going to love you.
the $6 Million Man. I think Steve Austin. I think I wanted to be Steve Austin. And then the early 80s, I wanted to be Scott Baio. I tried to have hair like Scott Baio with the cross and everything. He's a good Italian boy like me, right? Good Italian boy.
Yeah.
But then I never really wanted to be anyone else. I'd like to maybe try Dave Grohl for a little bit. I think that'd be cool, but I never really wanted to be anybody else. I'm just.
Well, when I'm asking that question, I'm saying occupation-wise, what did you want to do? Musician, astronaut. He's saying, what do you want to be when you grow up? It's not like I'm going to say I want to be Sheryl Crow. You know what I mean? I'm not asking that.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, I took that a whole different way, but that was much more fun. I hope Dave sees this.
I mean, that was you took my question like out of the box.
So I will go back to your question. So I was, an athlete through high school and into college. I played basketball for 2 years at a junior college, and so I was really going to focus on like nutrition, sports science, that kind of stuff. I really wanted to go that route.
Nutrition.
Wow. Yeah, I wanted to go that route, but for whatever reason, one of my chemistry professors in high school convinced me. Who's a wonderful man, Mr. Dominici, a wonderful man who was largely responsible for the career that I have. Kind of guided me towards, chemistry, which became chemical engineering. So I have a degree in chemical engineering that I never really used. I became a sales guy, out of college, but I technically have a degree in chemical engineering from Penn State University. Yeah. So
you could use that as well, part of your career.
Nah, it's gone.
You still have the degree though. It doesn't disappear, Michael.
It's gone.
It doesn't disappear.
Yeah, I'm cool now. I'm cool.
Or you could write a song about it.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that'd be exciting. Yeah.
Like a not a parody song, but like a fun uptune type of beat. What your life was back then to where you are now. Make it fun.
Yeah, I can take that idea down. I can write that idea down.
Yeah, I mean, if it sounds good. I'm just giving you an idea. You don't have to go with it if you don't like it, but you never know what's going to come next. And I feel like being on my show, the manifestation that I try to give to my guests, and you coming on with the positivity, this is where we connect to where you never know what's going to happen next. After this show, anyone could contact you. Anyone can hear you because you're all over the world. You're on iHeartRadio, you're on YouTube, you're on Facebook, all over the world, internet radio and Hamilton Radio. So you have the opportunity to be everywhere. Other people don't know who the heck you are. People are starting to understand who you are. Yeah. I'm sure you as a musician in the beginning, you didn't know who you wanted to be. So it was a hard chance for you to turn around and be like, this is who I am. This is the music I want to pursue. And these are the genres that I'm going to have, because I don't want to say that I have one genre. I'm going to do all these genres. And that makes you super unique in your way.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I know genres are important, especially when it comes to like charting and radio play. I wish they didn't exist, but I understand the reason for it. But I have so many friends who just play whatever they want to play. And like I said, we were kind of country rock, Americana, pop rock. I will tell you, we have a song that has a reggae beat in it. And then we got the hard rock one coming later. So we're a wreck right now, but this is so much fun just to explore and kind of see what sticks. And I don't know.
And doing different stuff, right? That's the benefit of it.
Well, that's part of the creative process, is just to kind of create something different and new. And then once you kind of dig what you're doing, like as Jim Croce said, if you dig it, do it. If you dig it a lot, do it twice. I'm going to do a lot of stuff, hopefully.
What about this? Because you're making your own genre. Why don't you just literally name your own genre of what you want it to be versus naming pop, electric, metal?
Ooh, what kind of name would that be?
You have to think outside of the box for that. Oh, that's something you have to ask Scott Baio or Steve Austin. What the heck did you say? The Hawk or whoever you mentioned, or I didn't even mention.
Yeah, it was Dr. David Banner. He was a doctor.
So that's just something you need to think outside the box. But that's something you could think about. After you have your new releases, say June, October, things are going to get different for you. You're going to get different different types of inspiration-wise, probably looking into new music, new genre. Yeah. You can lean into different names, a cool name, make your own name up, and say it's your genre. Because you're that type of person, right? So you could create something that you love. That's what you consider your genre, and then everybody else will understand it.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that one. I'm gonna make my own genre. Why not? I have nothing to lose. Nothing to lose.
You should definitely do that. But look into what else you want to do, whether you're pursuing, you know, Americana, reggae, pop, rock, heavy metal, country. I mean, there's so many genres out there.
I know, it just depends on what the song wants. Like the song that's a little bit heavier for us in October, it's just more of it's an angsty song. It's a little bit of a me saying F you to some things. And it's just, it required a little bit more aggression, a little bit louder, a little bit bigger. I'm not saying hard rock has to be, negative, but this was just my way of kind of expressing myself.
Okay. Not saying that Linkin Park is negative, but a lot of their songs were a little depressing, but I listened to them when I was depressed. So it made me feel a little bit better about life.
Yeah, a little bit dark, but they had a good message. They had a very good message. And Chester, God bless Chester, had a wonderful message.
Amazing.
So that song was just a little, just required, just cranking up those guitars that go to 11, not 10, but they go to 11.
And hearing the beats that come out of it, when you put your emotion in there and you're like, okay, I'm going to make this song a little bit more emotional. Don't say depressing, emotional. So you're like tweaking where you want it to sound, and this sounds cool to you, and oh my gosh, and you're pulling at our heartstrings where when we're going to listen to it, we're going to cry, we're going to get mad, we're going to want to punch a wall, we're going to stomp on the floor, break a chair or something. Not too crazy, but you want us to have the emotions that you're feeling, so we feel the same as you in order to like your music and what you're putting out there. That's the same kind of mentality with all music and musicians that people do. I mean, the other thing is, look at the industry right now. As you're seeing young people grow up, everybody's trying to decide, they like Ariana Grande, do they like all these different musicians that are out there. Everybody wants to be the same, if you can't tell in the industry. And the thing is, when you're trying to put yourself out there, you don't want to be the same. You don't want to be a bystander. You want to be you. So don't change what you want to do. Let yourself be you. That rhymes.
No, I agree. Like I said, every song just requires something different. And at the end of the day, I've said this before over and over again. At the end of the day, all I want, number one, is to be heard, right? But I just want my music to do one of three things, preferably all three, if I can get all three. Make you move, think, or feel. Dani, make you move, think, or feel. Preferably all three. But if I can get one of those, I think we all win.
I think making it move isn't a hard thing. Every time I hear a musician sing, when it gets me, I definitely start crying. Whether it's on my show, whether it's in person, when I'm watching and listening to the person perform, making it move is definitely how it feels, because it pulls at your heartstrings. Emotionally wise, it can also make you feel very sensitive. And you're like, okay, this song is very beautiful, but it makes me cry. So that's also another type of thing where you get the opportunity to feel both different ways to the fans and the viewers.
100%. Yeah. So if I can get one of those, move, think, or feel, we win.
So we have Chris who left you a question, if you can see it below.
Oh, there you go. Oh, man. So my favorite musician of all time left us, I think, maybe a year ago. I can't even remember. Has it been a year? He was a gentleman named David Crosby. You might know him from Crosby, Stills, Nash, Nash and Young, Crosby, Nash, old 60s kind of folk, rocker. Just his music, his voice, his life was very intriguing and, pretty wild. His spirit was pretty wild. And I just enjoyed the character of David Crosby, and then the music he created and the harmonies with, Stills and Nash. And so he left us, but he was someone that I really, really dug. And I love his music so much, especially when I was living in Northern California. Couple of the songs that he wrote and sang about were areas that I lived near. So I got to kind of go physically and experience, Mount Tamalpais, when he wrote a song called Tamalpais High.
Okay, so you got a chance to explore it.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah.
That was one of your inspirations. Now, if you had the opportunity to perform with somebody on stage, who would you want?
Oh my goodness. Wow. There's just so many people out there. Oh my goodness.
Maybe 5.
So, what's funny? I just saw one of my favorite musicians who came to Philly. She is, I think, a Texas-based, although I think she lives in New York City, but I think she's Texas-based or born. Multi-Grammy award-winning artist. I didn't know any of that before I heard her. Matter of fact, David Crosby on Twitter mentioned her, and I was like, well, David likes her, and I think they made a record together. I'm going to check her out. Her name is Sarah Jaros, and her songwriting and musicianship.
She sounds really familiar.
Oh my goodness, she's multi-Grammy award winner. She just came out with a new album recently, which is why she toured. And my wife and I went. It's phenomenal. It's in that country rock kind of theme, I guess. Just amazing musicianship. So, my Lord, I'd love to maybe, get her coffee or something before the gig. If I could just hand her a cup of coffee, that'd be good enough.
That's one. One more.
I would love to sit with an acoustic guitar and just like tell stories, honestly, with Dave Grohl. I think Dave Grohl is one of the most wonderful men in this profession, and he's a great all around guy. Been through a lot in his career, both musically, personally, professionally. I just would enjoy some time sitting around with like acoustic guitars and drinking some beers with Dave Grohl. I think that would be fun.
Okay, 3.
Another one. So someone I've admired. So it's a great singer, kind of a singer-songwriter. The lead singer of Train is a gentleman named Pat Monahan, who's actually from Pennsylvania, kind of my age. Pat Monahan is his name. Okay. I would love to pick his brain. Some of his songwriting that he's done over the decades of Train success, I would love to learn songwriting from someone like him. I just thought the things that he did and how he phrases things and the different intonations and the arrangements of the songs are so eclectic. I love the band Train, if you know Train. I know they had their kind of heyday, but I'm going to see them.
No, I know Train. When you said Train, I was going to say Train.
Atlantic City.
I haven't heard them in years. It's like if you bring David Archuleta, who the heck is that? Nobody knows these people anymore.
They're going AC. They're coming to AC. We're going in the summer. Train.
Who, Train?
Yep. They are.
That's awesome.
And then another gentleman who left us way too early, I forget when he died, maybe in the 90s. Do you know a gentleman named Jeff Buckley? Put out some phenomenal music.
I feel like my dad might know who that is.
Yeah, Jeff Buckley was someone who I think he did 2 studio albums and then had an awful accident and died early. But what he put out, I just love so much. I look up Jeff Buckley. I'll even send you something. I mean, his music is so phenomenally good. Left us way too early. And then, I'd love to go back in time to like, I can't say one musician, but I would love to have been like in the Haight-Ashbury. I lived in the Bay Area for a little bit, so I hung out in the Haight-Ashbury district, but certainly not in 1967 or 68 or 69. I would have liked to experience that whole folk movement, that whole musician movement in that Northern California area. And then, of course, I went down into Southern California, Laurel Canyon, that kind of thing. But I would love to have been a part of that musical force. You
want to time travel. That's exactly what you're pretty much saying with your music.
Yeah. Well, music is the only.
You literally said you want to do this. Well,
music is the only true time travel. I will tell you, Dani, I have songs that when I hear the beginning of the song, the first lyric, the first beat, I know exactly where I am. Time travel is absolutely real. It's absolutely real.
I'm sure that it is, but I feel like with your music, it depends how you're putting yourself where you want to be. All right, so let's say for Radiate, where are we time traveling?
So Radiate, well, obviously I'm time traveling to a very, very small, short, distant spot in my backyard where I am just desperately trying to get through the day. So I know exactly where that takes me. And I won. I was victorious. I'm here. Everything's here. We're all here. So I won. So those are good. Those are good times. Those are good memories.
What about My Way?
Yeah. Oh my God. My Way. That was more of our ballad. So My Way, I
wanted to ask you about this because this sounded really.
Yes. Oh my God. I kind of forgot about. I didn't think you were going to ask about that one. I never promoted it.
I remember.
Yeah, it's one of those songs, Dani, that just kind of wasn't the campfire. Here we go, leave this town, beautiful day. It just wasn't that happy song, but it sat in the book for 25 years. So I started that song 25 years ago, going through some rough times, and I finished it about 20 years ago. So that song sat in my book for 20 plus years. I didn't want anyone to hear it. It was very self-reflective and, very vulnerable. And so and what's funny about that song is I pitched it to Bob, my producer, twice where he passed twice on it. The third time he took it. So I was persistent.
But did something change when you gave it to him the third time, or was it the same?
No, it was just whenever we first started, we were doing like these big choruses and really into that country rock. So I guess he felt we haven't done enough of those yet to change already. So we waited till we did 4 of those kind of big chorus country rock songs. Then after Beautiful Day, after the hit, the number 1 hit, then we did My Way. So we kind of felt like, okay, we did the bulk of the country rock. Now it's time to maybe switch a little bit. And so, yeah, I finished that 20 years ago, and it sat in a book, and I pitched it twice, and finally he accepted it. And we thought it was going to be just our simple me, guitar, chair, a spotlight, just a singer-songwriter song. But as we started hearing it and listening to it, and the song spoke to us, it kind of became a little more, the band comes in, and the pianos and the drums and the bass comes in, and it becomes a much more of an ensemble second part of the first verse. So it just grew into something different. And that is my absolute favorite song. I love that song. It just, we didn't do much with it because it just wasn't that happy campfire song.
Okay. So where can we listen to My Way? Do you have that
Everywhere.
as well? Okay. So is it all on your website, your
Everywhere.
social media platform?
Everywhere. The good news about putting out music is when you put it out, the distributor puts you on every streaming service known to man, some I've never even heard of. So it is out there. If you want to find it, certainly it's out there.
That's beautiful. I love that. Well, I appreciate your time being with me today, Michael. It's been amazing getting to know you, talking about your music, excited for your June release. So let's talk a little bit before we get ready to end the show. Mid-June, what are we looking to have teaser-wise happen?
So
you don't have to say too much because you already gave out a lot for October.
Well, I know technically you could talk about the next one because the previous one was just released. It's done. It's out there, right?
Exactly. But I didn't know if you wanted to. You might want to build up, So
I'll give you like what it's going to sound like. I'll give you that much. If the Police, remember the Police, Sting, the Police,
Yep.
If the Police and Nickelback, I could say that, had a musical baby song, it would be Dance with Your Shadow, which is the next song coming out in June. Dance with Your Shadow. I'll give you that much.
Michael, I'm going to have to say this off air as well, but I need these songs MP3 wise so we can play them on Hamilton Radio, please.
Oh, I think you guys are on my, I'm sure you're on my, I won't look right now, but I'm sure you're on my email list because I have a very extensive, email marketing list. I will make sure.
Or if you will send it to Chris will send it to my dad, Doc G. He'll get you on the radio for Hamilton Radio.
Yeah, please. No, I think you guys are already, I think we're connected, but no, I will definitely check 100%.
Yeah, because I don't know if we got your new one yet for March 1st. I know that.
Oh, no, I will 100% make sure. Any email you want, I will, if you want.
Make sure we get all of them, please. Okay. Yes, definitely. That's amazing. Wow. That is incredible.
It's very different. It's very, very different.
You're like out of the box.
Police and Nickelback had a musical song baby. Is that a thing? I don't know. A musical song baby.
It's a thing now. You already said it.
When you hear it, maybe you want, if you listen to some of the early Police songs, maybe you'll hear it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Honestly, that sounds incredible. So this release will be June, beginning of June?
Mid-June. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay, so how can we stay up to date? We'd be posting it on your website. We'd be posting it on your social media.
100%. Yeah, the one thing that I don't shy away from, as you know, is you just have to continually feed the machine. Unfortunately, that is the dark side of being an indie artist, is you got to feed the social media machine, and I have a lot of food, so I feed it a lot.
Well, that's a smart, positive way of explaining it, basically. But it's amazing. I'm so excited. I can't wait to hear your new song. It's coming out in June. That sounds incredible. I wish you so much luck. I'm really excited also for the October release, just to give you a heads up, because that sounds pretty cool too.
A little heavier, yeah.
I know, but I love metal. I grew up listening to it, so that's kind of why I'm like, oh my God. And of course, that's going to be after June, so I have to wait patiently more. But
thank you.
I appreciate your time today being with me. One day, if you're ever close to New Jersey.
I know. Yes.
But we will figure that out sometime. We still have the opportunity to get to meet you. I'm going to let you know as well. I don't know if you saw this comment earlier, but I think you just got another connection.
Yeah, Alan. Hey, brother. Thank you, man.
Alan is such a great friend of ours, so we love doing collaborations if we can. But
right on, man.
Thank you so much for being here. I truly enjoyed having you, getting the opportunity to get to know you, your music, what you put out there. Definitely did not know you were a dad. Definitely didn't know you wanted to be Scott Baio when you grew up. But, things change when you're older. And do you feel any different as you are now?
I'm cool. No, those are all past. I'm me. This is all I got. This is it.
This is what you want to do. This is what you want to be. And I'm sure your family is 100% there to support you. So I think that's amazing.
No, thank you so much. You run one heck of a show. Thank you for your patience. I'm so happy we finally did this, and hopefully maybe every release, maybe it'll give us something to talk about. Maybe we'll try to do this every release. Who knows?
I don't have a problem with that. You have the email of Chris. You contact him. He lets you know when you're on the show. You're on the show. You just don't get me when you do the test streams, because I get to eat dinner and have a good time. You get to enjoy the show. That's the most
find you, trust me.
Appreciated time. No, it's okay. But I definitely want to say thank you again. Okay. Really incredible having you. Anyone that is tuning in, please make sure you guys check him out. Give out your website again where people can find you, your social media. and where they can find your new releases.
Yeah, the website's michaelbotteband.com. Can you believe that? And if you just type in Michael Botte Band in Google or whatever search engine, that you will find everything. It's every streaming platform, YouTube, whatever you want to listen to your music on, Spotify. I'm there.
Are you on Apple? Are you on
Everything.
Google Play? Oh, that's not a thing anymore.
No, YouTube Music, yes, everything. Every streaming service that you could imagine.
Okay. TikTok?
Yeah, well, I don't think TikTok had music whenever we released. I'm not sure if they have a TikTok Music. I don't believe TikTok Music. I do have a profile where I put promotional videos, but the actual streaming, TikTok doesn't have a music site, I don't think yet. Right? I don't think
And
so.
I just wanted to say before we end the show, actually, as well, how did you get a chance to meet Gordon?
Gordon?
Caden.
Oh,
Gordon.
Caden. Oh, okay. Oh, my man, Caden. Yeah. So when
He
I
gave
first,
this opportunity for you.
yeah, when I first started this gig, Caden was my one of my first promoters, and we did New Rising Sun together. So I've been with Caden from the beginning, and we've just kind of grown together. And he's such a wonderful kid. He works hard, so hard, like you do. We need the youth of you need your generation to come on up and just take over for us. So you kids work hard, man. You're a kid. I'm sorry, you're a kid to me, but you work hard. You and Caden both. So yeah, Caden, my brother, thank you, man.
Well, thank you for the opportunity again, Caden. He also referred us to you. So we appreciate that. But again, thank you for your time, Michael. If you have anything that you want to reach out to us about or any music, you have Christopher's information. We'd love to have you back on the show sometime, and we hope you have a good rest of your night.
Thank you so much. See you.
Thank you all so much. Make sure you guys tune into the Dani Perro Show every Tuesday from 6:30 to 7:30. Have a good night, everyone.